Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Larissa Lily, and I'm going to do another collective reading today, collective love reading. The last reading I posted didn't get reviews. I must have posted it at a bad timing, but I know my channel's been out of commission for some time, so hopefully this gets out for a lot of people. But it was also a very heavy energy, and I kind of wanted to just come back and do another reading and see where it's at today. Hopefully, it helped a few of you. Um, that last reading was very heavy on some past energy. I will say during meditation, as I was going through and clearing all my cards, I did see a lot of past energy as well. But let's see what happens. If you're new to my channel, I love doing more. My energy frequency is more about the lesson and it's tough love. Because I do notice we're in times where humanity is stuck, and this work is not to keep people stuck. And I'm very genuine about it, which is why I had to leave the channel for some time, because it is important to me for me to stay genuine to the energies. Um, and so the actual genuineness of the energies can be very heavy, and at least the mission I'm on to help collective, especially with building back relationships, it requires a lot of um, personal development and learning our own behaviors when it comes to connections. Because the one thing I do know is it's very valuable to have connections, and whether it's a relationship with someone, a partner, like an intimate relationship or a family relationship, all your heavy lessons come from a relationship. Everything you learn is going to come from a relationship you had. So um, let's get into this. Spirit, give me the guidance and energies around the collective love. Love the first card already. Keep an open mind. So please, I think this is why I went to this host spiel in the beginning of this reading, talking about it. So your soul may differ from your usual type and expectations. And I think this is about what I was trying to say is keep an open mind. Our connections are usually our lessons. And so a lot of times they're um I think the word I'm focused on is expectations and our expectations on people. So there's always a lesson on that. And there goes that reconciliation. So there is a past energy, but we'll see. For some of you, this could reflect past, but also present. Um, let's see what's going on. Maybe one more for the collective. And trust. And we have true love. So for some of you, this is a I again I feel past and new. And this reconciliation doesn't necessarily have to be reconciling with someone in the past, just in the past. This is about reconciling with someone familiar or connecting with someone familiar. So that's where this trust comes in. So this situation is calling for you to have faith. And I love this energy because it represents again what I'm saying, that our biggest lessons, we don't understand them, but our biggest lessons in life are connections. And losing faith is one of those things and those cycles that we go through many times. And it's always a lesson, because the truth is it's always challenging our faith. Our faith is what gets challenged. And going back to this keep an open mind, again, it's because of our expectations. So let's see what else we have for the collective spirit. Thank you. still a lot of cards, but we do have a new beginning here. I'm going to keep them for the sake of the reading. Um, but we have throat chakra, trapped in fear. So I like that we have um, a chakra appearing here, right? A spiritual transition. We have trapped in fear, which is the Eight of Swords. We have Six of Swords here, which in this deck is called the Victory and Success. We have the Strength card, which is the Power card. We have the Patience, again, Trust and Patience, which is the Temperance card. And I love that. Yep, here we go. Base chakra. This is the root chakra. So this is where it all begins, the healing part of the root and foundation of who we are as a soul signature. And the fact that we have the base in the throat really tells me, again, it is the faith, the truth we tell ourselves. It's kind of like what we say to ourselves, what keeps us in this Eight of Swords energy. But I also feel this trapped in fear is a mirror of, and I'm pretty sure it's going to show up as we go more in detail on the reading of the mirroring that's happening here. But the key part here is obviously there is a new beginning. Under that is a Two of Cups energy, but the key here is our root, it's our base, is our foundation, and it's about what we want. What we want out of life, what we want out of our soul in this cycle. What were the tough lessons we needed to learn? What are we not going to do again? Right? Okay, so let me get more on the throat chakra. Yeah, so Ace of Cups, again, new beginning, but this interprets self-love. Ace of Cups is also healing, but it's a new love. But it's the honesty of new connections. So it's doing it different, and it's doing it different with your cup more full, your cup, even if it's not fully full, it's understanding more. It's in a different space, because to be in the Ace of Cups, you have to be in a different heart space. You have to be honest, because if not, you're going to just repeat the same problem. So we do have Three of Swords and Seven of Swords. And I feel this goes with what was happening. The Three of Swords is, again, the lack of honesty. I like that the throat chakra is being cleared by the swords. The swords is communication in the tarot. It's everything we tell ourselves, it's everything we expect, it's everything our mouths and our minds put together. So this is definitely a mental conflict, which speaks on this Eight of Swords energy, the trapped in fear. Now, clearly, like I said, it has to do with love. I'm not going in depth about the trap. Um, I feel this has, again, I do feel it has to do with some of the mirroring that's going on here. Let's see. I'm going to pull with this deck about the throat chakra. More on this throat chakra. What does the collective need to know? So fresh start and retreat. So that, to me, the retreat is about how you're showing up differently. It's more about your connection. I love that you're in a retreat, guys. This photo shows green, water flow, a connection that someone you're connecting on, but maybe common ground. It requires for you guys to pull away from, all expectations. But we do have leaving and fresh start, which we do have here, new beginning. So this tells me of what needed to be left in order for you to start over. And again, it requires truth and honesty. Whatever you're starting, whoever you're with, this true love, that's why I feel there's a fresh start. There's something that's connecting here, but it has to start from honesty. It has to start from even if you're reconnecting with someone from the past, it has to start with talking about all these Seven of Swords energies, like being honest. If you're just going to avoid, again, that contributes to avoidant personality traits, And I think we all have it because it all has to do with how much we want to hold ourselves accountable for our participation with who we are with, right? So let's see this trapped in fear. Jesus. I mean, wow. Page of Swords. Talk about trapped. Wow. So you have trapped in fear, right? Eight of Swords. Again, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Nine of Wands. This is an exaggeration here of fear. I'm feeling this is more on this person past energy. You know, there's someone truly in this energy because there's an energy and know where you're at. This is a collective read. So clearly there's love here. There's trust and expectation. There's a romance of a lifetime. There's fresh start. There's a new beginning here for someone. So it could be you, um, the reader who I'm speaking to, whoever's watching, or you could be the person who's in all these swords energy. You identify what energy you're holding right now, which again goes with this throat chakra. This reading is important. The only people who are going to come see this reading are those who are ready to embark in this transition of accountability and talking to ourselves, because this is a lot of swords energy. Now, for those, I do feel a strong, like I said in the beginning of the read, I do feel a strong past energy, and someone is just clearly not in a good headspace. I'm going to pull with this deck to get more on this trapped in fear. This trapped in fear. Oh my God. For some of you who connected with that reading from last week, we talked a lot about loss here, grief, sorrow, pain. This is an immense, I can't even make this up. You got Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Nine of Wands. This is immense amount of grief. If you haven't watched that reading, please go watch that reading. I actually, this is the first time you've seen my reading, that reading, I actually recorded it. I had almost a 30-minute reading. It did not even record my voice, like there was no sound, and I had to re-record, but yet the energies continued. And that says a lot in terms of someone not willing to talk about how emotional they are currently. And clearly, I spoke on both readings, the stages of grief. Go back and check out that reading. This could still relate to some of you on those stages of grief where someone's not really willing to is willing to go through the last process of grief, which is acceptance. And that showed up in the last reading. So there is a resistance to accept. And so this is a trap, right? This Eight of Swords, this is a trap. Game one is trapped in fear. Yeah, dark attachment, third party. This is influences, dark influences. This is like the devil. And then solitary, withdrawn, lonesome, single. So this person is experiencing a lot of dark energies in reference to this, right? Shattered again. We're seeing Three of Swords energy. Shattered, damaged, brokenhearted, destroyed. Now, some of you are like, what does this have to do with me? So, when it comes to energies like this can actually be something as strong as this can cause some level of resistance in your movement. But again, this is about keeping an open mind. This is about your flow and understanding that, you know what, just keep going. That's it. People are going to feel what they feel. But what it comes down to is you could feel what you want, but it comes down to this throat chakra and this root. we own our root. This base chakra belongs to each individual person. No one controls this base chakra but yourself. And so, whatever that foundation or standard or principle or morale you live in within this energy of in your base chakra is the signature you're going to continue to live your life in. And so, the soul grows and then it opens up, keeping an open mind. You shift your expectations, you become more honest, throat chakra, and then it embarks you in a fresh start. It's an honesty. Get more on this Six of Swords, victory and success. More on this victory and success. Wonderful. I think this is beautiful. There goes the Eight of Swords again, and strength, which we have here. An Empress. So someone clearly perceives you, right? You have victories of success and then Nine of Pentacles. You're perceived as moving forward. Someone sees you moving forward. This is beautiful, right? Because whoever is in that energy knows that I'm not going to lose my faith. Yes, things went wrong, but I have a new perspective. My energy shifted. So therefore, it's clearly your mirror no longer matches to this dark attachment, this past energy. This was probably an old version of you that just had to evolve. But also, these dark attachment souls tend to confuse your soul, and it creates self-doubt. So this is a pattern this past energy knows to live in, and you made it out of that pattern. Clearly, they know you made it out of that pattern, which is why they're in this dark energy, this resistance. You've made it out. You have judgment here as well. So you've made it out. You've cleared your open mind. I mean, come on, judgment. You've cleared your mind on how you judge the situation. And this is a major arcana. So this this lesson forced you to reestablish this root, this foundation of yours. And you're doing well. And that's exactly what it is, right? Because now you've regained trust. You've regained faith, which then brings you a really good person, or someone more aligned to that. Came on this power. I have a strength card here. Someone definitely fears the strength here. Give me more of this justice. I love it. That justice was a strong energy last week as well. So you do have strong fire energy here. You have Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, Libra, but you have it clear power, strength clarified by Page of Swords and King of Wands. And I think it's an energy you're being perceived as. This King of Wands is a very your soul. Wands represent the soul in the tarot, and your soul is much stronger. It's more willing, again, in a space of, it's a page, but it's a space of telling truth. There's more clarity and embarking in an open mind. Page of Swords, it's my mind is more freer to think and be open to different conversations with people. This is probably, you have more common ground with this new person you're with. Again, karma playing out with justice, which is why this dark attachment, this person doesn't recognize this new person. It doesn't align anymore. And they know it doesn't align with you anymore, which I think makes them fall into this resistance more, because it's now forcing them to grow, but clearly it's an energy that doesn't want to grow. So here, patience and trust, temperance, time. Give me more of this patience. Mm. So Three of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and then we do have the Hierophant, and then again another Swords energy, Ace of Swords. Look at that. Bottom of that is now the Devil, Two of Swords. So again, this is a resistance, and there's patience around this. For some of you, like I said last reading, it was a marriage, a long-term relationship. Some of you, again, just as strong, dealing with legal issues. It seems like there's some kind of negotiating, trying to find a common ground. Some of you have kids with this person, and it requires a lot of patience. But clearly, it's being driven by a dark attachment, right? Ill intentions. But that clarity is there. That clarity of what it is there. I'm going to clarify with this. Give me more of the patience. Give me more of the patience. Wow. You know, this is interesting. So yes, frozen silence. There's clearly no communication for a lot of you with this Ace of Swords. And loyalty in the bottom, exhaustion. So look what came out. Unconditional love, misunderstood, and mirror, which is reflection, shared feelings, you. Misunderstood, lost soul, right? That's what I'm saying. Victim mistakes, unconditional love, innocent support, whole heart. They're attached to this illusion with the Seven of Cups. That's why it requires patience, because as long as this person lives with this possibility, right? Seven of Cups creates illusions, it creates possibilities, but it's also driven by this devil, right? Where there's no truth, it lacks truth. So this to me tells me that this person, lives in an illusion and in an energy of hope. Energy of hope. Give me more on the Seven of Cups. Okay, there we go. Letting go, right? Releasing, walking away, moving on is an energy of hope. I don't have to do reversals, but clearly there's a boundary. And it's because there's no communication. They want an energy of hope, of apology, return, forgiveness, and then drifting, right? Slowly parting, disconnecting, detaching. Not ready for that. Letting go is a final, right? It's the acceptance stage that we were talking about, still feeling misunderstood. So not having to accept the reason of the separation and why things are no longer connecting the same. It's a version of you that they can't connect with because it's not gonna click back. It's not like the Legos. We're not going back and gonna click back the same anymore. It's no longer the same energy. No more this base chakra. I love to see that. Yes, Empress, your roots, your King of Swords energy, your Empress energy, and your strength. I mean, how beautiful is that? This is why it's a version. Look how many people here, right? So this is the Empress, the King of Cups. I don't know, did I say King of Swords? I meant King of Cups. And then this is the Empress taming the lion. This is a nurturing, it's a control. It's again that control and that foundation. You have found clarity. And the principles, these are high integrity energies. Leo loyalty, your your word of honor. You speak the truth. Again, back to the throat chakra. You're not doing this anymore. You're leaving behind, not saying what you need to say. You're more in your strong king of sword, king, oh my God, king of cups energy, meaning your emotions are more stable and pure and authentic. There's an authentic voice behind that. There's strength behind that. There's confidence behind that. There's assurance behind it. There's an integrity of justice behind it. There's a lot that is, and this is what it's going to embrace an abundance energy, empress energy, a flow energy, the proper person to match that energy. Let's get more of this new beginning because this is excellent. Get more of this new beginning. All of you are in different cycles of what this is setting you up for. Get more of this new beginning. Four of Swords in the bottom. Knight of Wands and King of Pentacles. So again, a person of integrity. A person stable financially, Nine of Pentacles, excited for new things, Knight of Wands, but willing to combat life obstacles in a more mature, grounded way. This is what it represents. You're more free. Knight of Wands is a more free spirited, so you're more open with what comes. Your expectations are more grounded. Again, and it matches a person who's more in that energy. We're going to clarify more this King of Pentacles energy. Beautiful. I mean, hello. 10 of Cups, the Sun, and the Queen of Cups now. Again, it matches the root. It matches this base. It's a very pure energy of more stability, in all areas. Your emotions are just in a different place and it's positive, right? It gets to a point of almost feeling or trying, and for those of you who are still going through this, the sun energy, right? It's a childlike happiness. So some of you can connect with like childhood songs, like how you could listen to a song that one of your happiest joyful stages in your life, and it brings you back to that similar energy. And um you know if some of you, and this is an added message I'm going to say because I feel like it may touch someone there, but when you do that and it kind of makes you cry in a way where like you're like, oh my god, I missed that, like this was a version of me that experienced joy and innocence before all these problems came. And you know what, or cry in those moments, because those moments are part of the healing, this root that you're reestablishing, you're defining, and crying to go back into this nostalgic space of a point in time to bring you back in your current state, remembering that the human soul is supposed to experience joy. This human soul is supposed to be naturally authentic to this energy. It's the real way to live life. It's not meant to be with all this confusion and these lower vibrational energies, right? Things coming into perspective, you know. Hangman and Three of Wands in the bottom, like it requires Three of Wands, it requires consistent intentions, right? With the Hanged Man, where You're constantly, again, keeping an open mind, your trust, right? Challenging the faith, but also understanding that it's the self. Hangman is we only hang ourselves, and we can only give ourselves. It's alone. There's no other person in this space, you know? So only us can illuminate this perspective and turning things upside down, upright, left, right, um, and still finding reason and meaning to look ahead with this Three of Wands. No matter what, clearly, Five of Pentacles in the bottom. Is it going to be consistent every day? No, but this is where you, as the Queen of Cups and King of Cups, gets to give yourself grace and do something small. And again, I think it's about being more present, and finding ways to be more grounded. King of Pentacles energy again, and present in the moment. All right, so let's see what the toxic triggers have been here. Clearly there's an energy, but what are the toxic triggers for the love energy? What are the toxic triggers here? Yeah, beautiful. True friends, you have a community of support. And again, that could mean, again, your root chakra, finding people more in alignment, but again, more connected to that happy joy energy. Most important is your self-care here, right? Find tools that work for you. What I'm saying, right? Like I gave the example of your music. What is it that works in this space to reconnect? And then you have breadcrumbs. Don't settle for bits and pieces. And that's that throat chakra. You've learned your lesson and you're leaving that behind. All those Seven of Swords energy that we talked about. This throat chakra is honesty, the breadcrumbs, the being honest. Also, how you breadcrumb yourself, how you breadcrumb others, right? Your participation. It's not just the person, it's also you, right? And being honest with all this. Seven of Swords is the thief, but all this energy and mental energy that was put towards coming from this person, but also from yourself, on your own limitations, right? And leaving that behind, leaving it behind. So no more settling for this kind of mind frame that created, a lot of mental limitations. Looking more deeper with the King of Swords and the Queen of Cups, more authentic, more deeper. It requires, again, key self-care, finding tools that works for you. It requires for you, and it's self-care. It's yourself. No one can help you do that but yourself, in that hangman position. I'm finding that. So what's the lesson here? What was the lesson? What was the soul lesson? Something flipped. Where is it? Here we go. Telepathy. This connection has a very strong empathic and telepathic soul bond. So I feel that's your new person where you're going to align, right? Align more, connective. It's more strong. It's empathic. That's why you have King of Cups, Queen of Cups. It's probably your counterpart, right? Strong empathic and telepathic soul bond. It's a different trust and faith. It's rooted with different, more common ground. Bottom of the deck is new patterns. Do things differently in order to bring health and vitality into your love life, which is what I'm saying. Keep an open mind. It's your expectations of things. So you're just kind of doing things differently, new patterns, finding your own tools. Okay, what else? What is the guidance for the collective, for this energy? I love it. We've got twice already faith showing up here, the word faith. Oopsie. And then we have the death energy transformation. Beautiful. Because honestly, this is when your soul is ready to move to the next stage of who you're becoming, right? Transformation. You are going through a rebirth right now. All you have ever known is upgraded to become your best self. Be confident in this outcome. And like I said, some of you are still in the, in the heat of it and this growth and this time, um, and this perspective, this hanged man, because it still takes time. And we also saw here the Four of Swords, right? It's a resting stage too. It's, a lot of time alone, a lot of time of reflection. But then faith also shows up again, the word faith. This might be trialing time for you, but you must not give up on the good outcome. Keep the faith and believe everything will work out in the end. Hope is life and brings you back to life. Let faith empower you. And again, that's again trust, right? This situation is calling you to have faith. So there's a lot being mirrored, and that's why I'm saying this is a strong energy because of the base chakra and the throat chakra. These aren't easy energies to get through, and they're not overnight. They don't happen within 3 days. This could take months. All of you are in different stages of this transformation. Some of you are just starting, and some of you are further in. But what is the common ground here is that no matter the stage, it requires this resilience strength card, right? And in truth, right? Power showed up twice of the faith, your courage, your perception of it, growing into it, right? Because all you have ever known is being upgraded. So it requires for you to challenge what you think you know, right? New patterns, do things differently in order to bring health and vitality into your life. It requires commitment. We're talking about vitality, do things differently, find tools. What you've known is changing here, keep believing everything will work out at the end. It's a mental challenge as well, but I feel this message was beautiful. It was consistent. And it just really goes, to speak on, just the challenging aspects of connections and relationships and really the requirement of the self, the requirement and the responsibility of the self, the accountability of it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to leave it there, but I'll see you in the next read. Bye now.